See it played, Death Ride Kursk, Totenkopf, actions. So the Death Ride series is that type of series that just makes me want to play it and play it and play it and learn it better, learn to play it better. So that drove me to break out Death Ride Kursk, Totenkopf. And DRKT comes with a lot of information counters that I had never seen before. These don't come in Hafid Ridge, they don't come in Hofhaya Pass. I just acquired 16th Panzer Salerno. These are not in there. So anyways, looking at these information counters, for example, Opportunity Fire Primary, and then it flips to Opportunity Fire Complete. And likewise, wherever it is, likewise you have, there it is, you have Opportunity Fire Secondary and flips to Op Fire Complete. You have, especially that one, and of course you have fired primary and fired secondary. So anyways, these information counters made me think again that haven't been playing the rules 100% correctly. And I really want to get to that level. And so I thought that maybe I would jump forward to DRKT here, learn with the master rules, learn with the play aids, or learn with the play aids, learn with the information markers, and then when I feel a lot more comfortable with how I'm playing, then I can go back and play the other games I have, hopefully with a much better understanding. Okay, stock Opportunity Fire. I just pulled out a German tank platoon here and a Russian tank company here. So we're just going to consider these two units right now. With all of the different wording, before I thought that when the moving unit moves a hex, the opportunity firing unit, and now that I won't use the information markers yet. I thought that the opportunity firing unit stack from one hex fires, and that's it. That's its one opportunity fire attack. So in this case, the Russians would have to fire only their primary, because it's 5 hexes away, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is beyond the short range. So I thought that to repeat, the Russian tank company, if it conducts opportunity fire now, it would only be its primary weapon factor. Whereas if the Russians waited and the Germans moved here, then the Russian tank company could combine its secondary weapon at short range and its primary weapon at short range combined for one opportunity fire attack. However, now considering the DRKT information markers, that doesn't seem to be right, because I'm thinking, and hopefully I'm not missing something, it's entirely possible, but I'm thinking, why would there be separate counters for opportunity fire secondary weapon, opportunity fire primary weapon, if they couldn't be done separately? And it says separately or combined, but I mean, the ambiguities of the English language are just absurd. Okay. So does separately mean separately in the same attack, which of course could be seen as a contradictory, but do they mean separately at the same hex or separately? Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and assume now that if the moving unit moves here, which is in long range, the Russian tanks can choose to conduct opportunity fire with their primary weapon system, which means I put this marker on. And the master rules do say that this information counter means that the unit stack has conducted opportunity fire with its primary weapon system. Okay, then I could see now why if this unit stack moves another hex, then the Russian tank company could conduct opportunity fire with their secondary weapon system only, and then they would flip to opportunity fire complete. I'm thinking that that's the only reasonable explanation of these counters. And by the way, I didn't even think about this before. I don't think I thought about this before. I don't remember thinking about this before. Again, just because of the information markers and nothing more. Guess what? We have Overwatch fire markers broken up into primary and secondary as well. So I'll be taking a look at that, what that means. I don't think these are even mentioned in the master rules, but they look similar to the op fire markers. Okay. So this is what I think that means. However, we have some more questions. So DRKT comes with some great play aids, and it comes with this great opportunity fire diagram. Unfortunately, the diagram, as I read it, does not show how to handle multiple opportunity fires. Okay, so I'm back to asking some questions. Now we've got a German moving unit stack, and we have multiple Russian unit stacks. Okay. There was definitely a time when I thought that the moving unit moves a hex. The Russian player could choose to attack one by one, not combined. I know they cannot combine their attacks. Opportunity fire are only executed from one unit stack from one hex. But I thought that the Russian player could fire, once, immediately fire again a second time, a third time, and a fourth time. They're all separate attacks. Then, of course, in my thinking, they would be done, except now we are going to consider, as a matter of fact, I'm going to continue with my example, even though there's some questions here, but let's continue on, right? That tank platoon only fired its primary. This one only its primary. This one only its primary, and this one only its primary. So then, if it moved, if it moved over here, there's no opportunity fire from these unit stacks at all, because they've already used one primary op fire attack against that unit stack moving. But if it moved this way, presumably this unit would now fire its secondary and be op fire complete. Then would this unit get to fire secondary op fire complete, and this one secondary op fire complete? Again, one after the other separate. That's what I thought before. But now I'm not so sure. Now I'm not sure at all. Frankly, so I have two interpretations. That's the first one. I don't think that's right anymore, but I'm not certain. Now, is it this, that the unit moves 1 hex and you have 1 unit stacked from 1 hex to engage the moving unit in that hex now? And so you fire, let's say, primary from that unit, and that's it for that hex. So if the Germans stop, that's it. If the Germans move 1 more, then what are we saying? Are we saying that that unit could fire its secondary, or this unit could fire both primary and secondary, or this unit primary and secondary, or this unit primary? I don't really know, and I don't really know because the opportunity fire example does not have multiple fires, which is funny. Well, it's not that funny. They have multiple targets, but they don't have multiple firers. So the language in the rules. So with reference to rules language, let me say up front that I don't call this a rules. I personally, I don't know, maybe I'm being too generous, but I don't call this a rules problem. I call this a language problem. And so I just need something more than the English language and its inherent ambiguities to help resolve this. And this, by the way, is the one op fire hang up right now that is standing in the way of moving on. I will move on. What I'll do, if I can't figure this out satisfactorily for myself, what I'll do is I'll use the more conservative interpretation, meaning basically 1 op fire attack per hex. Is that what we're saying? 1 op fire attack per hex. Okay. The rules say, and some of these, so only 1 unit stack from 1 hex may perform opportunity fire once per weapon type, secondary, primary, per moving enemy unit stack. I don't know. That might sound like a good rules sentence. That rules sentence means absolutely nothing to me. Not only does it mean nothing to me, that could be interpreted some crazy ways. So I don't even know what to make of that sentence. Then we have only 1 such unit stack. By the way, in rules writing, using vague reference, not vague, indistinct references like 1 such unit is probably a bad idea. Only 1 such unit stack may interrupt the moving unit stack, period. Completely not helpful, but does this mean only 1 such unit stack may interrupt the moving? This is why it's this sentence that's making me think maybe if interruption means move 1 hex, interrupt, then only 1 such unit stack may do this interruption. And if doing this interruption is literally the same as conducting opportunity fire, then it is 1 opportunity fire attack from 1 unit stack from 1 hex per hex moved. But nowhere does it say that. Units that are doesn't help. Okay, so is there any other help here? There is only 1 hex may fire at an enemy unit stack, comma, interrupting the unit stack's movement once only. Again, I have no idea why once only is tacked at the end of the sentence and underlined. Once only, meaning what? And even there, isn't it per weapon type? Okay. maybe I do just need to go with the more. So I have a loose interpretation, which means move interrupts with opportunity fire. Again, I wish I had some arrow markers, but so this is an interruption. One hex, this is the loose interpretation. One unit stack from one hex interrupted the movement and conducted opportunity fire, but then that unit conducts opportunity fire, that unit conducts opportunity fire, that unit conducts opportunity fire, and whatever opportunity fire they use, primary, secondary, or combined, they are now done for this turn movement of that unit stack. I got that. But that's still the loose interpretation. The tighter interpretation, the more conservative interpretation is move, interrupt, opportunity fire, done. I guess maybe that's once only. Interrupting the enemy unit stack's movement once only. It's also annoying, the language, only one hex may fire. A hex doesn't fire, units fire. So, man. I think I'll just go with the conservative interpretation, which is going to be, well, it could be very different in particular tactical situations. So this action is very simple. Well, the simplest. This is one of those actions where I just grabbed about a handful of units on each side, grabbed a map, and gonna have them go head to head. I made the Soviets defenders here, gave them some fortifications, or a fortification, some dug-in positions, 3 wire counters. I grabbed an anti-tank unit here. I like this little touch in the back of the master rules for DRKT. We have units listed and some text explanation, little explanatory entries. So I do like that. So this is, I'm looking right there. This is so I'm using this reference in the back. So right here we have a Russian dismounted anti-tank company. So the description is approximately 200 men, small arms, 8 45mm anti-tank guns, and it's a soft target. Yeah, soft target. Also, we know it's a soft target because its defensive value 16 is against a plain background, and then it has a mounted side. Mounted side. Okay. So anti-tank company in the fortification. We have a dug-in, should be a regular infantry company. Rifle company, as you can imagine, soft target, rifles, machine guns. There, and yeah, no backside. Dug-in, another company, and okay. This one has the artillery symbol superimposed over a infantry symbol. Frankly, this could be used for different things, but anyways, that's why it helps here. So in DRKT, we're talking a dismounted mortar company, approximately 200 men, small arms, 8 120mm mortars, a soft target, and it does have a mounted side. Okay. So that is the Soviet defending force. They are in, actually I'm going to put I'll wait till the first fire. They are in a wood line, the edge of a wood line. All right, on the German side, in the lead, we have a platoon. We have, what is that, a 54846, Panzer Mark III platoon, approximately 5 tanks, machine guns, 50mm cannon, and a medium target. Which again, we can tell by the color behind the defensive factor of 8 on the top right. So 1 tank platoon. Over here we have, are these identical? We have should be Panzer Grenadiers. Should be Panzer Grenadiers, dismounted side and mounted side. Mounted in half tracks. All right, so let's see. Yeah. Dismounted, mechanized infantry platoon, small arms, machine gun, soft target, and half track mounted, mechanized infantry platoon, blah, blah, blah. Okay. They're attacking. They're on the far side of this rise here. These are, should be SS. So we have, is this a third? Okay, it's a third platoon, same. And then we have engineers here, or pioneers. Yeah. Ooh. I miss it. Yep. Yeah, and correctly, the rules do list. Rules do point out that the unit examples are not exhaustive. I've noticed that before. So you can't expect every unit to be described. Anyways, yeah, easy enough. They are wheeled, so they're dismounted engineers or pioneers platoon, and you have a motorized side. All right, so the German side is fully motorized mechanized, and so in general, I'm going to try different things. I'm going to try Overwatch Fire. I'm going to try this new interpretation of Opportunity Fire. Right away, this darker area is higher elevation than the surrounding area here. So the woods and the Soviets are on the same level as the Germans, but between them they have a rise. As I understand it in this game, the moment the tanks come here, they're visible, because the rules, I don't think, use the term, but these are contour lines, obviously, but these are gentle elevation changes. So you have no cliff effect here at all. No plateau effect, cliff effect, stair step effect, whatever you want to call it. You do have, I believe you have that over here with the shaded areas. But we'll get to that. I wanted to start where there's no steep slopes or anything like that, but there is some elevation. So I can start getting loss in DRKT. So I'm going to have the Germans start moving. Also, the Germans are simply here. They're going to try to get as close as they can and then launch into their first assaults. They're going to try to get crossfires. So to get crossfires, they're going to have to spread out, but they'll probably still spread out and try to take a flank. Yeah, so I think we'll just stop when we get to some important mechanics. And actually, let's get right into it. I want the lead Panzer platoon here to go up on the rise, survive any opportunity fire, and then go into Overwatch. Movement allowance is 18. Yes, 18. And for Overwatch movement, they can move 1/4 of their movement allowance rounded up. So 1/4 of 18 is 4.5 rounded up to 5. So the first question is, what type of movement costs are there for the tanks to go up a contour? Actually, contour is no movement effects. Okay, so we just count it as, that's what I mean by the gentle rise. So this is just clear terrain. They are tracked. They're tracked, so they're paying 1.5. So they are going to be able to go, so what they're going to do is they're going to go 1.5. Make sure it's clear. Yep. Yep. Okay, 1.5. So the Soviets, well, actually the anti-tank guns do have a long range of 5. So they could use their primary. So let's do it. So Soviets have a primary weapon factor of 5, out to a long range of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be op fire primary. And let's see what kind of, well, it's well, I'm assuming it's ×1. So we go to our die roll modifiers, lots of tables. Fire results table. There it is. So our firepower table. So I'll go over this one more time. So the target is a medium target. Right there, medium target. Corresponds to the color behind its defense value of 8. The Soviets are using their primary weapon factor at long range, and they are a dashed unit right there, armor with dash and all other units. So it is ×1 as I, oops. Well, anyways, it's, there we go. So it's medium target. The Soviets are using their primary weapon at, or the target is at long range. And this is armor with dash and all other units. It's ×1. So it's just the 5. And let me see if there's anything. Not really. Okay. All right, so it's just ×1. So it's 5, 5 to 8. All right, it's 0.63. 0.63. Go to our die roll modifiers for fire combat. This is not enfilade fire. Target is not adjacent. This is not a plus weapon firing at medium hard. Wait. No, it's not. Fire is elite? No. Okay, let's talk about elite. These are a pale red, so they are regular red army. So I do not believe that they are elite. If they were dark red, I don't have any handy, but if they were dark red, they would be guards units and they would be treated as elite, I believe. Target is not in a river hex, not in a mine hex. Elevation. Actually, they're firing up 1 elevation. So fire is not above target. Target is not in a wire hex, stream hex, close air support, patrol track modifier, no. Woods, no. Not firing out of a smoke hex. Fire is below target, -1 per level. So it's -1 for being 1 level lower. Firing into a smoke hex, town. Firing after moving, no. Dug in. This is opportunity fire. So it's -3. Now we're up to -4. I wonder if they can even get a hit now. -4.5. 0.63. We go to greater than or equal to, yep, it's the 0.5 column, and they cannot get a result. Because if they roll a 10, minus 4, there's no effect. That was anticlimactic. Okay. Okay, so now let's take a look. The Germans are actually going to start with, now I'll reverse those. They're in the fortification. 4. Well, I'll leave that for now. Okay, so the Germans are going to go into Overwatch. So I mark them Overwatch. That. Okay. Okay, now we can talk about movement. What I want is to take these 2 half-track mounted Panzer Grenadiers and bring them over here, down on the other side of the rise here, coming on to the Soviet position here. They are tracked. They pay 1.5 per hex, so that's easy enough. 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6. 7.5. Do the same. Now, movement. Again, the information counters that come with DRKT have these moved full, moved half markers, information markers, which makes me think of what I've been wondering about the system. I'm wondering if I've been missing this. Basically, there's so much flexibility for when units move, when they fire, when they do anything else they can do action-wise. There's so much flexibility, but the question is, when is a unit actually done? In other words, and here's the example. They moved, what is it? What did I say? 7.5 movement points, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 7.5. Wait. Yeah, 7.5. If I put a moved half on them now, which means what? So the question is, does that mean that I can come back later in this turn and they can move up to, move again up to half their movement allowance, which would be 11? 11? I wondered that before. I don't think so, because there are 2 hard and fast rules that I see. One is a unit may only use 1 type of movement per turn. So you can't do regular movement and then do overrun movement. You can't do regular movement, then do Overwatch movement. Only 1 type of movement per turn. And there are 5 types: regular, overrun, overwatch, reserve, and withdrawal. And the other hard and fast rule that I see is that in all types of movement, a unit stack must complete its movement before any other unit or units may move. Exception overrun movement. Okay, I think the exception overrun movement is only when you want several units from several hexes to come together, I think, and then overrun after all of your overrunning units have come together adjacent to the target, I believe. But I'm not considering overrun right now. I'm just considering all the other types of movement. But that says Movement must be complete. So as I see it, you're not coming back to finish movement, which is weird. This is why it's weird, because this information marker, moved half, says, it's explained as the unit, see right here, the moved half marker designates that the unit stack has used only half of its available movement allowance and still has half left to use or may fire. Why would you mark it half to come back to use the second half of the movement allowance if the movement of this unit stack must be complete before you go on to another? I don't get it. Now, I understand, I hope I understand, and this is actually what I was really wondering. Can a unit stack move half of its movement allowance? This is what I was really wondering. Can a unit stack move half of its movement allowance, be marked as moved half, and then later in the operations phase, can the German player come back and conduct its fire? So, actually, that is regular movement. Can they come back and do its fire with a penalty? That's fire after movement with a DRM of -2. First of all, I ask, why would you have a moved half marker if you can't come back and use the fire? Before, I actually thought that you had to do it all together. Now I'm wondering if, no, you can actually break it up. I really didn't resolve anything for myself. I still have this question, so I'll play it and see how it works. I mean, I guess they moved half, so I can mark them because it's still regular movement. Well, here's my issue right here. Here's my question. I'm going to mark it moved half because they could still fire. Of course, it's kind of funny because they have no target right now at all. When would a Soviet target ever become available within the same? I don't know. But if they were up here, though, then I would mark them moved half because I might want to come back and have them shoot. I don't see why they can't do that anyways. You see, I'm just thinking through all this stuff. I'll mark them moved half, I guess, for now. And then, actually, let's do this one. So the mounted pioneers have 30. The Panzer Grenadiers underneath have, actually, these are two different rates. We have tracked and wheeled. So we'll do the tracked first, 1.5, 3, 4.5. Man, I need some serious memory aids here. Anyways, 4.5. The wheeled is going to spend 3 per clear. So 3, 6, 9. Now, they're not stopping voluntarily. If they were stopping voluntarily, couldn't I mark them moved half? But anyways, they're not. They're going to get hit with opportunity fire from the mortar platoon. Let's try that. See how that attack shapes up. Okay. The question should be brewing for everyone to see. How does a Soviet mortar platoon firing at 2 kilometers away cause any serious damage to truck-mounted engineers and half-track mounted Panzer Grenadiers using opportunity fire? Now, first of all, the opportunity fire piece. These are 2-hour turns. I'm not sure that this means literally the units were moving continuously across the Soviet countryside here, and the mortars were trying to hit them. Maybe with a 2-hour turn scope, we're talking moving and halting, moving and halting, moving and halting. These are 1/3 kilometer sized hexes. Maybe I can see that. But then let's talk about the actual weapon systems. And I'm not saying a 120 millimeter, that's what we said, right? 120 millimeter mortar. I'm not saying a 120 millimeter mortar can't cause some damage to engineers in the back of trucks. I'm just saying the ability to hit such a target. It's only a platoon, but anyways, I'm wondering. I'll just get to what I'm getting at. I wonder if there aren't rules for how much damage this type of unit can even do against different classes. So we certainly have a soft target with the truck-mounted engineers. I got that. But the Panzer Grenadiers are in a medium target. So I wonder about this. Okay, I guess I feel obligated to finish this little issue out. There is a whole thing about infantry type units being able to cause damage against armor units, but it looks to me like half tracks are excluded. So let's first of all set aside the truck-mounted engineers, pioneers. I don't really care about that target right now. I want to know to what extent can the Soviet 120 millimeter mortars at 2 clicks away using opportunity fire cause damage to half-track mounted Panzer Grenadiers. Now, a fire factor of 4 against defense factor of 6 using the fire table. This is a plus artillery unit, but it's against a medium target. Bottom line is that it's ×1. So it's 4 attack factor against a 6 defense factor. That's on the 0.5 column. And then it's -3 for opportunity fire, but +2 for being a plus weapon firing against a medium or hard target at less than 6 or less than 7 hexes away. Some of these things seem odd now. I didn't notice them before, or I don't know. Not sure. But if it's -1 on the 0.5 column, then only an 8, 9, or 10 gets a result of S1, which I guess it's not outrageous. Roll of 4. So that's a 30% chance of getting just an S1, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. It's not as outrageous as I thought things were going before.